Bitcoin-fund-manager.com. What's going to happen to the price of Bitcoin and what should I do about it? Bitcoin-fund-manager.com, where we protect your Bitcoin during downturns like the one we're going to have. I'm telling you, we're going to have a massive downturn, and where we grow your Bitcoin for you aggressively for institutions and individuals with over 50 Bitcoin of active investments in play. Okay, so what's going to happen to Bitcoin right now? Let's look at it from a fundamental point of view, meaning the big picture, and let's look at it from a technical point of view, meaning the charts. Where should we start? Let's look at the charts first, okay? So here we have a chart, and I'm going to try and figure out where the lens is on this camera. Okay, it's up here. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? You're seeing what I'm seeing, right? What's happening is that every single time Bitcoin goes up, support becomes resistance, support becomes resistance, support becomes resistance, and support becomes resistance. Now, another thing that happens, and these are all critical points. If you look at where these blue lines match up, it's $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $8,000, and $15,000, $16,000. Okay, so these are all very, very critical points. Okay. I'm going to show you something more interesting though. Notice this really, really, really faint green line. Can you see that? Whenever support becomes resistance, and you move up to the next critical price zone. So this first one is starting at 2,000 and going up to 3,000, right? That's 50% increase. That's huge. Look at what happens. From 2,000, we go up to 3,000, and we drop back down to 2,000. You lost half your money if you bought at the peak. You lost half your money if you bought at the peak. Then, let's go to the next examples where support becomes resistance. You buy at 3,000, and guess what? It goes up to just about it goes up to 5,000, and then guess what? It drops right back down to 3,000 again. 3,000, 5,000, 3,000. Guess what happens next? Next key level, from 5,000 to 8,000. Guess what happens? 5,000, you go up to 8,000, and you drop right back down to guess what? $5,000 again. This is really, really super common. Are you starting to see the pattern here? It's not rocket science. You went from 2,000 to 3,000 to 2,000, 3,000 to 5,000 to 3,000, 5,000 to 8,000 to 5,000 again, 5,000, 8,000 to 15,000, and guess what's next? Where will we go after that? If you look at some Fibonacci lines, which I didn't draw because Fib lines are, they clutter up this entire thing. We're looking at about 30,000. We're going to go from 15,000 to 30,000, probably more. Probably going to peak right around 32, 3, 4,000, and then go right back down again. It's always happened and it always will. Why? Now let's talk about the fundamentals. I hope you saw that. I hope I wasn't too close to the camera. Okay. So why is that? JP Morgan, China, Korea, even North Korea. Everybody's been trying to FUD Bitcoin. Why? Because they want cheaper Bitcoin. I mean, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? If it made a difference to tell all your family members and your friends, don't buy Bitcoin, it's just a Ponzi, it's a scheme, it's tulips. And if it made a difference and dropped the price of Bitcoin low enough for you to buy it at half price, wouldn't you do that? Guess who has the ability to do it? Wall Street. Banks have the ability to do it. Well, why would banks do that? Well, I just told you. They would do it because they want cheap Bitcoin and they missed the boat. Think about this. If you worked at a major fund, let's say you worked at a major Swiss bank or a fancy fund management hedge fund in Wall Street, who wants to be the first person to go to their boss and say, "Hey boss, look, I bought everybody a $10,000 Bitcoin. Can I get that window seat now? Can I get that corner office now?" It's not going to happen. You'd get laughed out of your... Anyway, now, if you go back up to your boss and say, "Hey boss, I got an idea. I know how to bring Bitcoin prices back down to half price." Well, yeah, let's hear it. Well, how about we short Bitcoin? Okay, go on. Well, if we short Bitcoin, what ends up happening is that we sell way more Bitcoin than we actually own. Yeah, I know that. So what ends up happening if we take a position and say, I don't know, 10,000 Bitcoin and we short it at 100 times, that's 1,000,000 Bitcoin you're selling. It'll just depress the hell out of the price. Yeah, that all sounds good. That all sounds really good, except for the fact that we have to buy the Bitcoin first. If we buy the Bitcoin first, won't that raise the price just to drop it back down? So won't we lose money? That's a really good point, boss. How do we handle that? How do we solve that problem of losing money to bring, absorbing the cost of bringing down the price of Bitcoin by buying more so that we can depress the price so that we can buy more? Wow, it's like a catch-22, isn't it? Got it. I got it, boss. What if, since we can't beat them, what if we join them, except we beat them after we join them? What are you talking about? What if we did this? What if we actually launched Bitcoin trading, but not actually buying or selling Bitcoin? Because the problem is, if we buy Bitcoin, we have to invest in it, and if we short it, we end up slitting our own throats. We end up shooting ourselves in the foot because the price of what we bought also goes down, right? Okay, what if we start Bitcoin futures in Chicago at the CME, which is really hurting with commissions because no one's buying flour and cement anymore, and potatoes and sacks. So we'll start there. They get their commissions, that exchange gets the commissions, and then we go to NASDAQ and we do the same thing. We don't buy and sell actual Bitcoin, we buy and sell Bitcoin futures. Okay, I'm following you. Go on. What's your idea? Okay, this is what we do. We buy a little bit of Bitcoin. Okay, we buy a little bit of Bitcoin. And then we go and in the futures market, in the CME and in NASDAQ, we short the hell out of it. Yeah, but the CME, and NASDAQ, you can short Bitcoin, but it's not directly related to the Bitcoin exchanges. We could short it all day long. It's not going to bring down the price of Bitcoin. Yeah, boss. That's why we buy a little bit of Bitcoin. Aha, got it. So when we short it in the CME and price drops in the CME, and when we short it on NASDAQ and price drops in NASDAQ, and when we short it in the Swiss exchanges and the London exchanges and the Tokyo exchanges, we short it all over the world. We actually control the price by simultaneously selling our actual Bitcoin that we bought in Kraken, Poloniex, Bittrex, Bithumb. Have you noticed that the prices of Bitcoin in Korea and Japan are higher than the prices of Bitcoin in America? Why would that be? A lot more buying power, which also means a lot more selling power. You see what I'm saying? Why wouldn't you want to do this? What about Jamie Dimon, the guy that tried to FUD Bitcoin into being super, super cheap at the same time China did? These are people that want to buy Bitcoin, but they want to buy it cheap, and they have the means to enforce a cheap Bitcoin, while simultaneously, this is the cool part, while making a ton of money by shorting it. They can short Bitcoin at the very, very top and multiply that profit gap on Wall Street while they lose a tiny, tiny amount of money on the actual Bitcoin exchanges, Poloniex, Kraken, Bittrex, Bithumb, OKCoin. So if you lose 2% of your actual Bitcoin value and you gain 98% profit, it's worth the trade. They can do it. They've done it before. They've FUDed Bitcoin before. They've tried to force Bitcoin cheaper before. The charts show you that it's going to happen. The charts show you that it has happened every single time. And history tells you, news tells you that they want it done. And if you look at all the latest, well, here, I'm not even going to read this for you. I'm going to just show. summarize it for you. 4 problems with Bitcoin futures. Yeah, you can short it and bring down the price of Bitcoin. Who is going to short Bitcoin futures? Miners and institutional investors. Hi, Jamie. That's Jamie in here with JP Morgan. Trading column, the writing's on the wall. Whenever the writing's on the wall, it's never a good thing, guys. What will CME Bitcoin futures do to the price? Not just CME, Wall Street, NASDAQ. Next, I mean, there's so much data that if you're not studying the data, and you're just blindly buying Bitcoin because it's the next biggest thing, you'll do fine in about a month. In about a month, Bitcoin price will double, triple from where it is now, but not before dropping a lot. That's our guess. And it's just a guess. We're not Nostradamus Incorporated, but it's an educated guess. And all the facts point to that. If you have over 20 Bitcoin of active investments and you want it protected and you want it aggressively grown, this is where you can contact us. Bitcoin-funds-manager.com. And if you want to do it all yourself, you don't want us to do it for you, you don't care about sleep or a personal life, it's this link, Bitcoin Signals. We tell you exactly what we bought, what we sold, right when we do.